Do you think Derek Watt will have a bigger impact this season
Hmm.
in the Matt Canada system?
Now that is interesting. He could, in theory, if we're gonna see more of this. I don't want to say run first approach because we're still gonna pass the ball a good amount of times. But if we are more focused on running the ball, I typically would like to have Derek White out there if he's going to be able to produce in the same way that Rosie was producing for Le'Veon. And the reason why I like that is just, even though it's going to attract a lot of attention, I do like the fact of having someone for Najee to follow off of. You know, like the O-line, they do their job in terms of the blocking, but to have that linebacker, to have that fullback that can maybe get the linebacker or get this safety that's in the box, and ultimately now you got Najee versus somebody else on the second level now. Like, I like that part of it. But then the flip side is, if we're bringing Derek White on the field, who do we have to take off the field? And now we got to go down that list of, all right, we know Deontay's out there. All right, do we keep Juju out there, or are we going to keep Claypool out there? Is Ebron out there, or are we going with Pat? Like, it's a lot of the things that happen with that. And that was what we brought up last year before Derek White got injured, when people would say we want Derek White out there more. And I would say, well, if he's going to be out there, he needs to dominate when he's out there in terms of the blocks that he makes. You need to see that impact, because fullbacks attract attention because they are tips. If you study from a defensive standpoint, those guys aren't on the field for decoy action. They are typically in the action 9 times out of 10. So it's just certain things that, you know, your antennas are raised when those guys come on the field. So you want to make it worth your while, man.
Yeah, you're not going to be out there sending Derek Watt on like a fly route or something.
When you put Derek Watt on the field, I'm okay, bite down on the mouthpiece. We either getting hard run or it's going to be play action pass. That's what I'm thinking.
And like, what type of deception would you be able to pull with him if you did a play action? What type of route would he be able to run to where he burns a defender? I don't see it.
So you don't use him to burn a defender. You start him on the right side of the line of scrimmage, and as the play starts, I call him Derrick Henry, Najee Harris running towards the direction of which where Derek Watt was at, right? So if Derek Watt was lined up on our left side over here, right? I want the play going this way. So Ben is opening up to this way. Everything is telling you is going to Derek Watt. All our action, hard flow with the offensive line, everything is going that way. Play action pass, you boot, you send Watt coming underneath though. So when I play action with Ben on Najee, Derek is running behind the line of scrimmage. And now once I roll out of that thing, I'm trying to get this backside linebacker. If I can get this backside linebacker to fast flow because of Najee going front side and because of Ben turning his back, well, now I could get Derek in a foot race, or I can get Derek getting a 2 to 3 yard head start on this guy because he wasn't keying the right thing. So that's about it.
Do we want Derek Watt in open space like that?
That's the thing. Like with Rosie, we would do it sometimes around the goal line or some short yardage situations, and it was fun when it worked. But if it doesn't work, how are we going to feel about that? And that's the thing. But Derek Watt has displayed that he can catch. He does have soft hands and things like that. So I wouldn't hate it, but it would have to be situational for me. But that's the other thing. You can only do it so many times before it becomes a tip. And now I'm on the field and I'm saying, well, all right, he's lined up on this side. All right, he's going that way. He's lined up on that side. He's going that way. Oh, all right, they actually ran it. Okay, fast flow, front side. Okay, actually it was the run play this time. So the package is still going to be limited. So with Canada, it could work to just bring that full circle in terms of the answer. Yes, he could have a bigger role from what we saw last year, but I still don't think
he was hurt a lot too last year.
I still don't think it's going to be substantially large where he's playing 40% of the snaps, 50% of the snaps on offense. I don't think it's going to be that, but I do think we'll see an increase in his plays if he is doing what we said in terms of actually moving guys out the way. Like, it has to look like it's a significant advantage when he's on the field, because if he's not, it's just not worth the attention to have him out there.
Sure. Almost too, I would kind of want Pat Freiermuth in that spot. It's not like, I don't know.
Pat can block.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how open tight ends are to just going to fullback, if that's the same thing of like a safety moving to linebacker, where they're kind of hesitant to do that.
No, this is the thing. Even though Derek White is a fullback by classification, the play that I just broke down for you, that's an H-back. So Pat would be that.
That was like Tommy Tremble kind of stuff that he was doing at Notre Dame.
You do that. The traditional fullback of just line up directly behind the quarterback and run A gap, B gap, C gap, and hit the first thing you see. Yeah, those days are ending. You know, because as the defenders, I mean, we're bigger. We're learning. We've learned that, and the fullbacks aren't nowhere near as big as they used to be. You look at
Mike Allstott,
right? Or I think of like Vontae Leach. Like think about how big he was. Like those were like legitimate fullbacks. I'll never forget hitting Vontae Leach my first time. Like, bruh, where are you? Like, how did they build this thing? Like, you're not human. You're like a bigger bowling ball. Like, this is nuts. Derek isn't built like that. Derek is small. When I say small compared to fullbacks, like the traditional sense of fullbacks. Rosie was the same. Talk to Rosie all the time. I'm like, Rosie, bro, you like 230 right now. Like, I'm used to fullbacks being like 260, 270. Like, at times you might be weighing less than your running back if LeGarrette Blount was out there at times. Yeah. You know, like seriously, man. So that's the other part of it. When it comes to Derek White, if he can do those type of things, it's not necessarily a given. But like I said, it'd be interesting to see though.
Like I'd rather have Pat Freiermuth catching that 2 or 3 yard little PA boot, getting him in space 1-on-1 with like a safety or something like that, him just stiff arming him, take it to the house, as opposed to Derek Watt. Yeah. Because like you said, I don't think that's that type of play or that type of formation or how we run that is specific to Derek Watt. It's like anyone could do that. You just got to catch the ball, maybe get a couple yards. Yeah. Whereas like if you get a certain player with the ball after those 2 or 3 yards in some type of 1-on-1 or open space, there's, I mean, a list this long that you would take above Derek Watt.
Absolutely.
It's not a knock on him at all, but it's like you said, maybe just the rules changing a lot for fullback and what you're required to do.
Shoot, one of these blasts from the past fullbacks they brought up, Lorenzo Neal. You remember him from the Chargers?
Oh yeah.
Man, he was a monster too. He was actually one of the first NFL guys I had the like breakout sit down talk with when I had got drafted. We went to the rookie symposium. It was out in San Diego. He was one of my breakout group like leaders, and just hearing some of his stuff, you're just like, dude, you're like a psychopath. Like, I understand why you're a fullback. Like, you don't care about anything. Like, you just want to hit. Like, this is nuts. And you just hear these stories. I'm just like, I wish I could share. I can't do that to my man though. It was
There was that one fullback for the Seahawks. He hit his head up against the helmet.
Yeah, like seriously,
I think
bro,
that dude was from WVU.
They're like whacked out. Oh my goodness, yes.
I think he was.
Yes, he was. He would too. It'd be leaking, bro. Yeah, man. It's just certain like fullbacks are built different, bro. Like I don't know how they wire them. Like, it's off. Yeah, it's off.
I don't think they have them anymore. Like pure fullbacks. Derek Watt's probably like the closest thing.
Yeah, because Rosie was the last closest name. I'm trying to think. Does Baltimore doesn't really use a fullback. Buffalo, no.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be like 2 or 3 teams like that we're missing, but
I'm sure
you just don't see it
the
anymore.
Raiders probably have a fullback. Watch.
Well, yeah, like Kyle Juszczyk. But he's not what the fullbacks were like, because he's probably one of the best fullbacks in the league, but he's used in so many different ways.
But he's an H-back. He's like, what was the cat that was in Indianapolis for a little while? Oh, man, it was like 44. Oh, Dallas Clark. Was that?
Yeah,
Dallas Clark. He reminds me of like that, like athlete, can moving around H-back area, but he's not a traditional fullback. He's not really a traditional tight end, but they're kind of like in that off. It's H-back. What you call them H-back? Because they aren't the on-ball tight end. They move around a little bit. So yeah.